Welcome back to the Pedal Progressions podcast, where progression is the obsession. I'm joined today by fellow co-host Craig Frazzi, just back from buying a new house.
I'm really scared.
And as always, Kellen Johnson, old reliable.
Hey.
And I'm Brian Zajac. And Kellen, why don't you tell us about the episode today?
Today we had Kyle Klyn, one of the original podcast members. It was a fun podcast. We talked about a lot of things. Some of my favorite highlights of this podcast were talking about what we thought the original podcast was going to be and what it has become now. Making absurdly large trophies for events so people don't actually want to win them and gives us a better chance to win. We also talk a bit about tires and we make fun of people that have white Maxxis walls. And we beg Kyle to take back the editing responsibilities. Spoiler alert, he declined. It's a joke because his name is Klyn. Get it? Brian, just tell him about the sponsors.
Our sponsors are 8th Day Gym. Just a reminder that the intro offer for the burn class, which is what I participate in, is $49 for 1 month of unlimited classes. I did have Nick Slayton, former guest, come with me earlier this week, and we had a good old time. Also, Building Blocks Foundation, which you can find at buildingblocksfoundationinc.org, providing speech therapy to underserved populations in the Grand Rapids area. There's a golf outing coming up on August 22nd at Boulder Creek Golf Course up here in the Rockford area. We have sponsorships available from $125 to $2,000, which include meals and a whole bunch of other stuff. And it's $500 per team to participate, and all the money is coming right into the foundation to help kids for their summer programs. Should be a good time, and that link will also be in our episode notes. Craig, why don't you tell us about the merch and events?
Everybody, do me a favor. Find your nearest window. Look outside. What do you see? I'm willing to bet that's the sun. It's getting warmer. It's riding season. It's on. You need a new riding jersey. I know you do. Make it a Pedal Progressions jersey. Shoot us an email. You know it. It'll be at the end of the episode. We can get you whatever color. Put your name on the back. Check it out. Check out our shop at our Instagram page. Follow that link to our merch store. And then hot off the press, Richmond Ruckus, July 12th. The P3 crew is going to be out in full force. We're going to be emceeing. Sounds like there's going to be some pool action, some pizza, prizes. We'll be handing out merch, and we will be talking a whole lot of smack as people go by on the trail. So if you want to get heckled, you want to have a good time, July 12th, the Richmond Ruckus at Richmond Park, right downtown. Super, super fun flow trail, awesome pool, great park, great for the whole family. Come check it out. Come say hi.
And then one other special thank you to Chris LeBaron in San Diego, who loaned me a bike and let me go ride trails while I was out in San Diego instead of just dirt jumping. That was very nice and awesome of you. Kellen, wrap this thing up and let's get into this episode.
Yeah, check us out on our socials. Our Instagram is at pedal_progressions_podcast. Our link tree is in the description. You can also email us at pedalprogressions@gmail.com. So without further ado, the dad vibe himself, Kyle Klyn.
Dude, Woodstock 99, if you've ever seen that documentary on Netflix. Can you imagine being stuck there during something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got good music and everything, but no water, no shade. That'll be brutal.
Yeah.
Like, I'm needy. I couldn't do that.
I'm needy.
You take one of those straws that like filter the water, like drinking out of a mud puddle.
Like
Dude,
straws.
something.
I just got served an ad on Instagram, and it was like, oh, rave at 5 p.m., home by 10 p.m. And it's like, are you sick and are you in your early 30s? Are you sick and tired of having to be out past midnight?
For the sensible rave.
This rave is for you.
If that's how they advertise it. Yeah, that's...
It starts at 5, and they must have like blackout curtains for the windows and stuff like that, so they make it feel like it's later than it actually is.
Courtney was telling me about a millennial club that it opens super early, and then they play all like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and all that stuff, and drinks are cheap, and it's all throwback, and it closes at 10.
And they did their market research. I'm kind of interested.
Yeah, I hate when I go to see like that cover band I like at the casino, and they don't start till like 9 o'clock. I can't do this.
Dude, that was one of the biggest drawbacks that I couldn't stand about the Tyson Paul fight.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, they didn't start till, what, 12:15? That's
Yeah.
when the limo was driving a half a mile an hour to the ring. It's like, dude, he's not going to get there for no 10 minutes. This thing needs to start now. It's already way past my bedtime.
The fight before it, like the girl fight,
Yeah.
that was rough to watch. One of the girls got hit real good in the eye, and it was like wide open. They're doing like close-up zooms on it. I don't know, it's just something about girls getting beat up and just bloody, and that it's just tough to watch.
I enjoyed it.
I can't watch girls fighting. It like bothers me.
Yeah.
You should have seen Steph. She couldn't take her eyes off it. I thought she'd be grossed out by it or be like, can we watch something else? But she couldn't stop watching it. I was like, all right. Cool.
The highlight was this cameraman deserves an award because they were interviewing Mike Tyson before the fight, and they're like, "All right, thanks, Mike," and he turns around and starts walking away. It's just his bare ass.
Oh, I did see that.
And the cameraman is like, "I was ready for this."
It was a locker room thing. Yeah, I think it was before the fight. They were like, "How you feeling, Mike?" "Feeling great." And then he's like, he just turns around, and just walks, see the bare ass of him walking away.
Well, the funny part for me is they didn't try to cover it by like panning away. They tried to cover it by zooming in as fast as they could, but the camera just could not do it quick enough. He was
Into the
walking away
black
at the same
hole.
speed. Yeah. Yeah, that whole everything leading up to the fight was like a lot of anticipation, excitedness, and then it just never happened for what felt like hours.
Just a full-on money grab.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, if you can advertise by like saying we'll be done at 10, you can get home and get a good night's sleep. I'm there. Yeah, for sure.
Blink-182. You could stay and beat your meat, or you can leave and beat the traffic. So Kyle, what have you been up to the last 5 months?
Who's Kyle? No, I'm so kidding. It's good to see you, man.
Has it really been? Yeah, you too. It's nice to be back in the refrigerator that is the studio. I can't believe it's been 5 months already. Has it really been that long?
Yeah, we recorded the special announcement one, I think like the first week of January or the last week of December.
Jeez, time flies.
Yeah.
Man, well, I mean, I haven't really been up to a whole lot outside of the ordinary. I've got 2 girls at home. They're growing up. They take up a lot of my time. Got a couple projects that I did on YouTube, like little shorts and stuff here and there that have been kind of gnawing at me, music related. So I was able to scratch that itch and get those videos out. And I'm working on a video from when Klyn and Jesse and I, Jesse's a former guest of the podcast, went out to Whistler 2023 summer. So yeah, it's been a minute since we've taken that trip.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that coming out because I get text from Kyle like, "Hey, do you remember what happened here on this trail 2 years ago?" I'm like, no.
Yeah, you said that you thought the new video was going to be dropping soon. So that was like one of the catalysts of asking you at this time to come on. Knowing that your video is probably getting pretty close to...
I'm a ways away yet. So I'm 5 minutes in. Start of day 3, I guess, is where I'm at right now. It's kind of hard to piece together. Like Kellen was saying, I've been getting a hold of him and trying to figure out, when did you guys go get Jesse's shoulder brace? Or, how long was the drive from the airport to Whistler? And what was that road called? Sea to Sky High. Okay, so I'm like doing all this research, trying to like find information to put in the video to kind of make it more enticing to stick around and watch. So it's fun though, because it's like reliving the vacation all over again. Mm-hmm. We took a lot of video, and it's funny.
Did you organize any of that footage before you, or is it just like
that was a big part of it? So this was early on in the P3 days, and I didn't really know how to this is before I did the Bentonville video, which I think came out pretty good, but I didn't know like what to capture or what would be best to have. And I've kind of come to the conclusion that like B-roll footage is more fun to watch than like POV footage. And we're talking like 90% is POV footage, and the rest of it's all just B-roll, which I don't have enough of, but it's interesting to put together. Still like reliving the vacation all over again, which is cool. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to be good once it's done. It's just time consuming.
Yeah, when people ask about like the podcast, I'm always like, the main reason we do it is to relive all the cool bike trips and stuff we've done with people and hear about other people's cool bike trips.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, like, the video, I've showed so many people that Bentonville video. Like, I was in California, and I probably watched it with 4 different people because they're interested in what we do. They don't really know. They don't see it, and that video does such a good job of narrating exactly what we did every single day. Like, how much we actually rode, what were the good places, and...
Yeah, well, I will give that back to you because if we didn't have a tour guide taking us from place to place, it wouldn't have been as exciting, honestly. And when I put that together, I literally just looked at the timestamp of all the videos and put them in chronological order and then just narrated based on that and then scaled the video down over what I talked about. So literally you planning the trip kind of like structured the whole video indirectly.
And now this year there's probably 35 new trails we have to hit.
Oh, geez. I'm so excited about this year, though.
Yeah, we just confirmed we're all going to Bentonville this year. Will there be a video in the works for Bentonville 2025?
Maybe. They're big projects, dude, and I don't have a lot of time. But I do want to do something, but I think it's just going to be real raw. Like I was saying earlier about B-roll, I think it's going to be a lot more B-roll. I think that would be more exciting to watch, at least for us, because anybody can watch POV. Like, there's so many videos out there on Bentonville. Like, who's the lady that I got smoked by? Annika. She's got a ton of videos that basically outlines every trail in Bentonville. So, I don't think I could do it better than her, but we can outline a trip pretty good, I think, if we're getting all that B-roll footage in there.
This is the first boys-only trip I've gone on in a long time. No one significant other is going.
Oh, I didn't realize no one's significant other.
Yep. It's going to be the boys.
This
Good.
This trip's going to be a little different than last year's.
Oh, boy.
Crank the fun to 11.
No, it's always fun having the females there. It really is.
It is, but just so any female listening knows, no matter how well behaved or fun your significant other seems, when it's just the boys, it's like a different person.
There is some truth to that. Yeah.
Just the amount of farting and stuff that will happen will be totally different.
The maturity gets cranked down.
Yeah, if Michael was coming, he'd probably be the most mature person on the whole trip.
Be like, guys, really?
Now we got Nick Garrison. That'll keep us in line.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's the mature one.
Yeah. He's racing, so he'll at least be keyed in for that part.
Yeah. What did you have is there like a list of new trails that maybe you had planned on checking out that we didn't go to last year?
Well, there's the new giant jump line in Kohler with like
I saw
30-foot step up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Andy said they've been doing a whole bunch of new stuff. There's new stuff up in Bella Vista. There's new stuff in town. They had to rebuild a bunch of stuff after the tornado after we left.
Yeah,
I'm sure everything's going to look different just based on how much trees were downed and destruction from the tornado.
Mm-hmm.
Rail yard will be the same.
Yeah. Rail yard was sweet. That place was awesome.
I rode with a fan of the show today, and he just got into mountain biking. He was a BMX rider before, like freestyle, brakeless and stuff, and he is going to meet his friends that he hasn't ridden with in like 19 or 20 years. And they just saw that he got a bike on Instagram and invited him to come to Bentonville this year. So he's just going down. I'm like, you got to hit the rail yard.
Yeah.
And I queued up your video.
There you go.
And I showed him the part of us riding the rail yard. And I guess they're staying like 1,000 feet from there.
Sweet.
Nice.
Oh, that'll be a sweet spot. Get to show off.
I'm like, we'll definitely be there. Mm-hmm. And we'll be there till the lights go out or until we get leg cramps.
Have you guys heard of this new park in Arkansas? It's like, I think 2 or 3 hours away from Bentonville, called Benton.
Yeah.
Is Benton or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you looked into it at all?
Andy said it's pretty cool.
Is it pretty cool? It didn't look as cool as the rail yard, but it looked similar. It looked bigger. Like they had more in terms of like single track style trails. Like there was more dirt involved, whereas the rail yard's all pavement.
Well, it used to be dirt. They had drainage problems.
Yeah.
And it was built by the same people, so hopefully they learned their drainage issues.
Okay. Well, it's not that old yet. It was just built this year, I think, right?
Yeah. But it was Progressive Trail Designs.
Okay.
both of them, I believe.
I don't know if we'll make the trip down there. That's kind of a long ways away, but
The rail yard's basically just jumps, right? Jumps and skill stuff. Sweet.
There is cross-country trails.
I didn't even know they existed there.
I didn't either.
Yeah, if you go
News to me.
where we turn around to go back up the hill to like do laps and on laps, there's 2 trails that go down, and it goes around the big reservoir lake, and there's like a couple downhill jump trails and like a bunch of cross-country.
Oh,
Is that kind of like the trails in Boyne Highlands where, we go and are only there for downhill, and they're like, there's cross-country trails. I'm like, yeah, why would I ride uphill when I'm here to go downhill? So they exist, but no one's ever going to touch them. At least none of us ever touch them.
Yeah, pretty much exactly that.
or like
I'm sure they're great.
We rode them. I rode them with Andy one day. We like explored. He had never ridden them really either.
Oh, were they any good or?
Not really.
No, yeah, not worth it when you're there to ride jumps anyway.
Worth a view. Like it was cool to like ride by the lake, and we were kind of scouting for people that don't hit jumps, so they would have stuff to do.
Gotcha.
Did you guys hear that a new trail's announced for Johnson Park around here? 6 miles of cross-country trail for Johnson Park has been announced.
I think it's a family-friendly, it's a great fit for the city.
Okay.
Is how I'll say that.
Enough said.
I'm very thankful that we're getting new trail, but
I caught your wavelength there. I got.
Yep. And I guess the best we can hope for is you got to start somewhere, and that's a great place to start. So if it opens up the door, I think everybody who's familiar with Johnson Park can see the potential with the topography there.
Yeah, there's a lot of hills and stuff.
There's a lot of hills.
It's probably the best dirt and land in the greater Grand Rapids area to build a trail.
So it's not all sand.
Yeah, well, it's by the river, so it's going to be clay-based. It's like topsoil and clay-based, that whole area. That's where all the dirt jumps going up were the Walker area.
So it has potential, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Good to know.
If there's anything that they could just get to work on here that is similar to the rail yard, I mean, even if it's just one line, like at the cliffs the other day when we went to Rays and we hit the cliffs before Rays, that place is so small, but oh my gosh, it just hits everything you need. It's got 2 pump tracks and 2 jump lines.
I talked to my neighbor who's on the Canton Township board. I sent him. I did it on GR Trail Riders. I posted the build story of that San Marcos bike park I was at in San Diego last week, and he's like, "Get me the information. I'll run it by everyone. How are we going to do fundraising?" I mean, they're open to it. It's just up here at least. But it's just a matter of figuring out the logistic part of it. But I was really surprised. Have you seen that park at all? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Just the picture that you shared on Facebook.
I just watched a video of the builder and the construction project that it was.
That's the one I shared.
And it is, incredible.
They sprayed whatever they sprayed on that made that concrete.
Yeah.
Nothing's growing through it. It is concrete as concrete could be.
Like they sprayed something on top of the dirt.
Yeah. Like they built it with like sifted dirt and they sculpted it with like sharp edges, which is like a big no-no when you're trying to get like runoff. And then they coated it with stuff they use on like BMX tracks around here, whatever that glue or salt mix or
it's
whatever.
Like dirt glue. I remember Andy was telling us stuff about that when he builds trails. They spray like glue on top of the dirt.
And on like some of the sides of the jumps, you can see where it's like 2 inches thick of that.
Really?
Where they like it's chiseled away or whatever. But I mean, it would suck to fall on, like bad.
Yeah, but so would asphalt.
Yeah. I mean, I jumped it and loved every second of it.
Yeah.
But I was wondering how they maintain such sharp edges on their jumps out there. LA doesn't get a lot of rain, but San Diego does. And it was raining before I got there. And I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to ride these parks because it was rainy and misty in the morning. Then I get there and it's like straight up concrete.
So this chemistry is kind of the alternative to paving everything with asphalt. It's probably cheaper.
Yeah, I think there's a little more upkeep to it in the long run, but I think it's a lot cheaper in the short term.
Yeah.
And you're not totally locked in to a design. Right?
Yeah, you can always chisel it away with But that video that Craig was referencing on Pink Bike was really cool about how they did it. And it's the first time I'd ever seen an excavator with an I-beam on the front of it to sculpt jumps.
Right? It was incredible. The guy on the sticks was straight up an artist. Like they showed him forming that, I don't know what to call it, but that crisp line that comes down the jump off of the lip. And it's immaculate. He's like making millimeter precise adjustments with the bucket of this thing, and it's perfect.
He frosted the jump better than I could frost a cupcake. Like legitimately, it was wild. And there's like 3 parks like that down there. I will say that their pump tracks were not good. They definitely put all their time and effort into the jump lines, and like, oh shoot, we're out of time. Let's just throw this pump track in here, and it's there and it works. But like, with as good as the other parts were, I expected it to be better. And then, like the first park I went to, Sweetwater, the great big jump line was great. The smaller ones were like kind of high speed and a little bit sketchy, like true tables. But that pump track was actually kind of cool. It flowed well enough that you could pump. It was like slightly downhill, and you could pump back up the hill, and like still jump things going up.
So let's do a fun little exercise here. All right, you can either say jump lines or paved pump track. You get to vote for one of those 2 options. I think we all agree that this is kind of like the biggest need in the West Michigan area. What do you vote for, and where do you put it?
Go in order here. Like,
I don't care.
I've put a lot of thought into this because I'm trying to make it happen, but I'm going to cheat and say both. But only because I have said multiple times that I want the big marsh pump track that has the 6-pack on the back of it in the Cannon Township Park where the field is behind the play area.
So that is a beautiful asphalt pump track.
Vela Solutions.
And then you can basically at a certain point you can pull off and hit the jumps, or you can hit them from sort of that hub area. And it's just 6 beautifully paved jumps.
3.
Okay. Pardon me.
It's 3. It's a 6-pack, so 3 jumps.
Gotcha. So 3 jumps, one of which I've never cleared. Probably never will. But
just the first one.
It's super cool because it all looks unified. It's like one thing, and you can ride it, and there's so many options within it.
I don't know, this is a tough one for me. And personally, I'd really take the jump line. I just enjoy jump lines more.
But kids.
I think, man, I have a tough time saying this one. I think what Grand Rapids needs is a pump track over a jump line to get the younger kids and more people into it. As much as I'd rather have a jump line, I think the pump track would be beneficial to get that first and get the draw from the younger kids, beginners, into biking. Man, I'd much rather have that jump line. Screw those little kids.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't know. There's so much BMX in Grand Rapids that just go to a BMX track and you can ride a pump track. We don't have any repetitive jump lines. If it's one thing that I guess realized is repetitive jumps is how you get better. And like at Cannonsburg, there was one jump every however long. It wasn't like one after the other. It was more of like an adventure slope style jump feature course. Whereas if you go to the Cliffs or if you go to Joyride, it's just jump after jump after jump. 1, 2, 3. Then you just turn around, do it again. 1, 2, 3. And you get so good at it with the repetition. But living in Grand Rapids, we just don't have that repetition anywhere close. You got to drive to get it.
Wallfield's about the best option currently.
Before that, in my opinion, it would have been the college.
Aquinas?
I was thinking Andreas, but yeah, Aquinas downtown.
Or underground.
Yeah, Aquinas is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ride Aquinas all the time just because there's 3 jumps in a row. And you could just do them over and over and over and over again. But that's just me. Where you'd put it, I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't thought much about it.
My backyard.
Exactly. I was going to say that, but I didn't think it would count. Yeah.
You're like, Comstock Park Middle School.
Dude, Dwight Liddell Park. That's my answer. That park is huge, and it's just so much space.
In reality, you have enough room in the middle of the Luton parking lot to put in like 2 jump lines. Go, from where the dressing rooms there or the bathrooms, get 3, maybe 4 jumps to the end of the parking lot, turn around, come back. And right in the middle of the cross-country trail parking lot, you have the room there to do it. Mm-hmm. That'd be awesome.
But where would the Luton Loops people park on Wednesdays?
Oh, yeah, because everybody comes up on the grass?
Yeah. Between the jumps.
Yeah, why do they have to park in the middle of the grass when there's an empty parking lot? I don't get it.
Well, some of them do it because they've got like crock pots and stuff. Like that is some of it. I asked Ellison.
Maybe they need to prove
dad kind of is one of the high ups there.
Maybe they need to prove all their Subarus can off road and they have to park in the grass.
The one dude's got like a 4-wheel drive, like 1990 Mitsubishi like minivan where you sit on the engine and stuff. That I think is real sweet.
Oh, yeah.
I used to have a Toyota one of those. It was dope.
I think Stony Creek has a good model going.
Yeah.
With just the Pines jump line.
Yeah.
If we could get that somewhere off of an XC loop that maybe is close to the parking lot, so you don't have to, get 2 miles or 3 miles into your ride, and then you're like, okay, here's the jumps now.
Yeah.
And then you got to wheel people out of there when they do their collarbone. Yeah. That's where I think Stony Creek kind of got it right.
That is the one downside about the Wallfield jump trails there, is you have to ride cross country to get to them.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I ride down the road, but every petition I have for county parks, that's what I put. A jump line session parking lot. Small one at the house there. There's a bench there. Why would there not be a parking lot?
And if you do it right, you'll get a food truck that'll show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be a spot.
And with what Justin's doing out there, I expect better things.
Have you been out there since I redid your berm for you?
No. Last time I was out there was fall last year.
I literally said I'm redoing Kyle's berm.
That berm is awesome.
It's big now.
I haven't ridden it, but it looks immaculate.
Yeah, it's like chest high now. It's big.
As Andy would say, does it have a good pocket?
I wanted to fix the pocket, but they talked me out of it because they said it doesn't need to be perfect, and it was getting dark.
It needs to be vertical is what it needs to be.
Oh, it is vertical.
Good.
The pocket is a little late for shrouping.
Oh.
Like, it still holds you really good, but if you really want to rip a tire off the rim, I need to carve out like maybe 3 inches farther back, and it would do it.
And get some of that San Diego dirt glue.
Yeah, that would help.
Yeah.
That would also help.
What is that? Let's make it.
The BMX track has it.
Y'all are smart. Let's figure it out.
I know Whistler used to do, I don't know if they still do, they partnered with a local college that had some sort of geology or, I don't know, whatever the study of dirt is. And they ended up coming up with a compound that they would mix like concrete basically in with the top layer of the berms and some of the spots where you just get the bomb hole braking bumps. And then they put a full irrigation system down.
On A-line.
On A-line. So they'll close off parts of A-line and just hit the sprinklers
Yeah.
in the middle of summer, and it like reactivates that special
They did that when
topsoil.
we were there.
Yeah, they close the trail down to water the jumps in the middle of the day.
I didn't know what you meant by that, because when we tried to ride it and they closed it, or sections of it, we had to go a different route, and you're like, oh, they're watering it. So I pictured them just with like watering cans out there. But no, then you see like the hoses and stuff, and there's a full sprinkler system.
And it hooks up to the snowmaking stuff.
Yeah.
So.
It's awesome.
Smart.
And Boyne Highlands needs that.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any saving some of those zones.
Bro, that was a desert when we went there.
Oh, it's
late
so
summer.
bad at the end of the year. Did you guys buy your passes yet for this year?
I got to
No.
the end of May, right?
Yeah, May
I'm buying
20th.
one. I'm buying one.
I'm
Yep.
buying one.
Don't forget it.
Yeah, I forgot. Thanks for reminding me. I need to do that.
I know. I told Zach, I was like, hey, I know all those trees fell because I was up there and it was way worse than I thought it was going to be. I'm like, I could get a carload of guys that could spend a whole day up there clearing your trails if you can comp us some passes. Oh, I haven't heard back yet.
Dang it. I already bought mine. Maybe they'll refund me.
That's one less guy in the car load.
Honestly, if they just got tire plugs in stock at their bike shop, that would be the biggest win. I'll take that over a free pass. Because there's been 3 times where I blew a tire and my wheels, for whatever reason, I have to use like zip ties and like clamps, C-clamps to hold beads in order to get a tire back on. So the bane of my existence is having to change a tire at Boyne on my enduro bike, which happens a lot.
You should stop doing that. That's poor planning, but I need to get up there. My enduro bike is up at North Country Cycle right now getting the suspension revalved. And then I want to go pick it up, and I want to go to Sault Ste. Marie. And Kyle that listened to the Matt and Jenny episode that we did said he'd take us on a guided tour, and he's like he's a really good like downhill rider, so it'd be all the fun stuff, not like the cruise around, look at stuff kind of thing. But they got so much snow. Like there was a freighter that got stuck in the locks like 3 days ago because of ice in the locks.
Really?
Yeah, they have that much snow still.
Oh.
Jeez.
And my whole plan is to go up to Sault Ste. Marie and pick up my enduro bike before we go to Bentonville. And I'm kind of worried about the timing of it because really the only week I can go is the second week of May because then we've got the first World Cup is May 16th through 18th. So whatever day the downhill race is, we're going to do a watch party again if you're free.
All right.
Sit around the TV upstairs with some lapel mics on and talk shit about everything.
It was really fun for Hardline.
Yeah, it was. It was more fun than I thought it would be, and I can't believe how many people listened to it. I thought it would be like 30. It's like 100 people listened to it in the first like 2 weeks. I was like, what?
Nice.
That was a 2.5 hour thing of us just making fun of most of the riders and then getting into it the last like 4.
So for all the people out there like me, where do you watch Hardline Bet live or the World Cup? Where do you watch it live now? Because it's not on Red Bull anymore.
It's on Max, which I have a subscription.
HBO Max?
Yeah. That's where all bike events are, except for like the Tour de France and Red Bull events.
Just another streaming platform you got to subscribe to.
But anyone that has AT&T, you should look at your thing for your cell phone because AT&T includes Max. So if you didn't know that, you should check into your unlimited plan because it will cover it, and that's how you can watch all the bike events. But we probably won't watch it live because it'll probably be in at like 5 in the morning. I don't want to do that. So what we did for Hardline is we watched it later that day. We watched the replay, and then we synced it up in the beginning where it was like, okay, start your stream in 3, 2, 1. So then people could like watch along while they're watching and listening to the podcast at the same time. And then they know what's going on. You can hear, like, I'm assuming they're getting excited at the same times we are, so they care less if we're talking. Yeah, we try to do it for all the World Cup downhills this year. And the first one I looked up is the 3rd week of May, right before Bentonville. And then there's another one the week after we get back.
Oh, okay.
We just need to buy microphones, which we'll talk about later. Do you got any summer plans besides Bike Fest? You got a Whistler trip or anything you got going, Kyle?
No, not Whistler. I would love to go again, though. Actually,
Craig is.
are you going? God,
You're going to Whistler this year?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me?
End of June.
Are you going the same time Jesse is?
Oh, I didn't know he was going.
I think he's going too. He's going to take his wife. Are they married now? They're married, right?
They're not married.
Oh, his
We
bride
would
to be.
probably know.
Yeah.
We probably would have been there.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know. He's sneaky like that. I feel like he might just.
Speaking of weddings there, what are we going to wear to his wedding?
Oh, boy.
Oh, that's tricky.
Well, you can wear an inflatable dinosaur outfit.
Get
He would appreciate it.
Get a row of us in inflatable dinosaurs.
I just saw a new devious prank for anybody who's wearing one of those inflatable suits.
I know this is going already. I've seen it.
They have an air intake where they have a fan that's running full time to keep that thing blown up. People spray fart spray into the intake vent, and it's so hard to get the costume off. There's tons of videos of people just flailing around in the inflatable.
You just break that zipper off before you spray it. And
Oh, I bet you feel like you're gonna die. Yeah. Because I mean, you got to breathe. What are you gonna do? Just hold your breath?
Yeah. I mean, let's get that over at Guantanamo Bay. Instead of waterboarding, let's give them an inflatable dino costume and spray some fart spray. They'll tell us
Shit in the
everything we
hole.
need to know.
Think of the streaming numbers. Oh my goodness.
You said you're going to Whistler at the end of June.
End of June.
I rode with a kid in San Diego, my cousin's friend, Kevin. I think he'll be there at the same time. If you guys are there, I might have to hook him up with you because he goes with his dad, and his dad rides some stuff, but he wants to get wild. And
Sweet.
He's a darn good rider, so.
who are you going with, Craig?
So we got a few people signed up for it. I just floated it out there. This all came about. My parents made a generous offer. They're like, hey, we'll pay for your Airbnb for a few days so you can go visit all your old Seattle buddies. And so originally I was just going to go out kind of by myself like I did a couple years back. And I just talked to a couple friends about it, and they're like, I would like to do that as well, please. And I'm like, okay. So we got Justin, Brett, and a coworker of mine. I can't remember if you guys met him or not. His name's Tyler. But awesome rider. Smokes me at Marquette Fall Enduro.
Oh, it's that guy. You've talked about him.
Yep.
Nice.
So we're planning to fly into Seattle, and then I've got a friend who's going to give us a North Shore rack. So we're going to rent a F-150, whatever, 1500, and go out to Snoqualmie Bike Park first. Then next day ride Bellingham for a couple days, and then maybe Squamish, and then like 5 days in Whistler.
Do you know the life hack about renting from Enterprise Truck Rental instead of the airport?
No.
It's way cheaper, and you get a 3/4 ton truck, and I mean, you got to watch your mileage, but for that trip that you just described, it's easy. The one thing is you got to make sure you fly in while they're open, and one person's got to take an Uber, because it's usually close to the airport. One person takes the Uber, gets the truck, brings it back with some moving blankets because it's a truck rental place.
Yep.
And you just
do the tailgate pad.
Yep. And then that's what we've been doing for all of our trips because it's way cheaper and easier. And having a 4-door, 8-foot box with bike boxes and bikes is amazing.
The 8-foot box is worth it already. You sold me there.
If you also want to do it on super cheap, you can get a box truck and an airbed. And there's your hotel, there's your ride.
Some Goodwill couches, maybe a TV.
Yeah, Whistler doesn't like vans in the parking lot anymore. They cracked down on that.
Yeah, we had a favorite. It's actually their road where maybe 15 minutes outside of Whistler downtown area. There's one road and it goes to their bungee jumping course.
Oh, mm-hmm.
That was like the main spot where we would camp always. We started off, we tried in a rooftop tent to set up on this nice little beautiful grassy knoll, but it's under high voltage power lines. So we popped the tent up, and then I went to touch the ladder and it arced off of the ladder.
As you're waving the big tent poles in the air. And
I don't think we were gonna sleep here. So then we just drove down that road, and there's a bunch of turnoffs on that road. But that was how we did it, full dirtbag style. We would hop the fence at the Ava Hotel.
I've stayed there.
And jump in the pool, and then they have towels just sitting out, so we dry off, change our clothes, and then over to our camp spot.
Another life hack: the Ava Hotel there, they have a bike check. They don't check if you stayed there. You can just check your bike in, get a ticket, and be like, "Hey, I'll see you tomorrow." And I'm not even staying there; staying at Airbnb.
Yep. And that poor guy, it's downstairs. So in the morning, he's probably gonna go grab like 50 bikes.
It's like there's 50 bikes here, but only like 10 people are staying at the hotel.
That's funny. I did not know that one. That's a good one.
There you go. The more you know.
Yeah.
I was hoping that both of you guys would have been able to join Kellen and I for the Barry Roubaix. That was a hoot. It was a good time, and we came up with a really good idea for next year.
Shoot.
Setting up the Pedal Progressions tent on the top of the hill where we were cheering, the first big hill, and doing a gear check and then bringing it to the expo later because everyone's cold in town and they go out of town and then they climb this big hill and they're dying going up this hill. And like people are just throwing their gear like on the side of the road that they'd have to come back and get later. And I was like, oh, we could pass out stickers and stuff.
Yeah,
and
a coat check at the top of the hill. And
yeah, we'll just bring it back and make some money.
Bad idea.
Everyone has a conveniently placed like Pedal Progressions like business card in their pocket when they get their coat back.
You owe us a listen.
Yeah. You owe us a listen. We'll take your coat.
But we got to hang out with Robbie. We chased him down multiple times. I literally chased him down running down the road.
Yep.
That was fun.
That was a fun race. Yeah, we definitely have ideas to make it even better next year.
Kyle, that was an interview you would have liked to have been here for.
Yeah.
The Robbie one that was fun. Like we were all best friends within like 3 minutes of him sitting down, basically.
Oh, nice.
Just a genuine golden retriever of a human being.
He looked like a
great
fun
guy.
Dude.
Yeah.
Looked like a fun guy based on some of the videos that I saw.
I went and saw his band like that Friday at like the teenager country bar downtown, or I guess it's got to be 21 and over. But Corey and I were like 30 years older than everyone else there. It seemed like, but there's like this long line. It's below zero, and all these girls are in like no clothes, like standing in line. And I talked to Robbie earlier, and he's like, just tell the bouncer you're here with the band, and then tell the bartender you're here with the band. So we literally walk past this giant line of people, and the stage is right there. And I'm like, we're with the band, and Robbie looks over and like waves, and the guy just lets us in past all these people that are like scantily dressed. We walk up to the bar, and we're like, I guess we're supposed to tell you that we're with them. And the girl's like, oh yeah, I heard you guys were coming. Here you go.
Sweet.
It was a really good time.
We got VIP status now.
Yeah, sounds like it.
He's playing the score, I guess, this year, so he'll have to go back up and heckle him in a loving way.
That'd be fun to organize like a bike ride and we all end at the score and go watch Robbie's band and cheer him on.
That'd be sweet. What trail do you think we could do or should we do to do that? Or just all road?
Probably Merrill.
Yeah,
Or Luton.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
I'd love that. Especially if there's beer at the end.
Yeah. And a sandy beach and some good music.
Yeah, right.
But we walked in, he's like, oh, our punk rock friends are here. They like played like Jimmy Eat World. They stopped playing country and they played us a song and then like came down and like hung out with us in the crowd and played and stuff.
Nice. This is the guy that like leads the Barrier Roubaix on the dirt bike, right?
Yeah.
That dude? Okay.
Yeah, lead rider. He's actually a cool guy.
Okay.
Kellen's still trying to get in.
Yeah. Well, my problem is I have a 2-stroke dirt bike and they don't like eating all the smoke from the 2-stroke if you're leading, so I'll have to be the cleanup in the back.
Or you have an excuse to buy a new bike.
Hey, there you go.
You're just looking at this the wrong way.
You're right.
It's cheaper than the e-bike you want to buy.
That is true.
Ooh, what are you in the market for, Kellen? What's the dream?
All of them.
Yes.
His wife needs an e-bike is how he describes it.
Yeah. No, my dream e-bike would be like a 160, 170 travel e-bike, something longer travel. And who cares? It's an e-bike. You can pedal that thing. Who cares?
It's for the wife.
That's right.
Yeah.
So she can be comfortable
Mm-hmm.
and confident.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, are we gonna learn from mistakes from last year and demo e-bikes this year?
Well, for one thing's for sure, I'm getting new tires for my bike.
Oh, what'd you try and ride before?
Well, stock tires. I think they're Maxxis something or other.
Max Terra, the hard ones.
I don't remember. Did
they have white letters instead of yellow Maxxis logos?
We're on those stupid white letter tires.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't think anything of it until I took it on a trail here. I think I took it to Wallfield here, just to get a lap on it, to see what it's like. And, you know, I guess this must have been early in the year because Bentonville is pretty early in the year. And I remember just pedaling through it and thinking, this is not like the best bike for this trail. But then I took my GT, which is like 2014, and just felt right at home on it. So much lighter, quicker, more nimble. And just kind of realized this other bike, the transition just not roll well. And then one of you three had mentioned like Maxxis not rolling well or something.
We were making fun of you because you had white lettering on your bike.
Yeah, I still don't understand why that would be bad.
It wasn't the white lettering. It was that he had full-on minions and he was trying to ride cross country, and they just don't roll fast. Not around here.
No, so I'm changing that, and I might just go tubeless also, just lighten the load altogether.
So for anyone that doesn't know white lettering on like Maxxis or whatever, if you're buying a brand new bike, all the lettering on it is always white. I think they do that just because white matches whatever color your bikes can come on. If you buy an aftermarket tire, the letters are always yellow. So we've had a buddy before buy tires on pink bike or whatever, and he like, oh, you bought white walls? Because they're just stock tires. Like, how could you ride white walls? It's just something to give him crap about. So
Is it Kalis?
yes, it was Kalis. So yeah, whenever anyone has white lettering on their for their tires, that's stock tires.
But what if it's a good tire? Like,
well, it's white lettering. Who cares if it's good?
It's few and far between that the product managers get it right. You'll see a lot of enduro bikes get specified with like EXO casing or EXO Plus casing, which for Maxxis is like one off of the Trail casing. It's like Trail Plus, which is just for certain enduro bikes. If you're actually going to race it, doesn't cut the mustard.
Cuts the tire, somebody.
It cuts the tire. And then you end up with yellow letters on your Maxxis. See,
changing
mustard,
a tire
full
at
circle.
Boyne.
Yep. So in general, they always specify or tend to specify the harder compound, which lasts a really, really long time. You could make an argument that the general mountain bike consumer is going to be fine with that. But if you're racing or doing anything where you really, really need to count on your tire, I like at least Max Grip, which is their softest compound for the front. And the theory is as long as the front sticks, back can do whatever it wants.
He wants it to pedal faster. So
then you want the hard compound.
Yeah. Something easier. I don't know. When the day we had the straight rhythm course, it was hot out. We spent a lot of time in the sun. When the straight rhythm course kind of folded, or the whole race kind of folded, I just gave up. I got tired of waiting. But I was so burned out and just heat exhausted, I guess. I don't know. We went back to Kohler, and I literally had my wife pulling me up. She was on an e-bike. I was holding her backpack, and she was towing me up at the end of the day. I was so tired. And in retrospect, once I got back and did the whole test on my bike at Waffle, I was like, yeah, I need to get a bike that's at least better rolling. If anything, just bring the GT out there and just save the transition for like downhill stuff, like slaughter pen, or not slaughter pen, but Leatherwood or something like that.
I converted Craig to the dark side of the B plus tires.
Bontrager, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Their tires are pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, this is a second season for me on XR4s, which, oh God, don't get me started on them screwing up the best naming convention in the tire world. They had a logical, numerical, like very easy to understand tire naming system that went by numbers, and the higher the number, the slower rolling but more grip you got, effectively. And so like you could go anywhere in between, and they had an acronym for, this is our XC tire range, this is our like trail tire range, and then this is our gravity range. Smart. And it made so much sense. And then they're like, out of nowhere, just like, this one's called the Gargoyle. And you're like, what? How grippy is the Gargoyle? And they're like, I don't know, it flies. Like, what does that mean? Yeah. But anyway, it was a great mix of cost, like super cheap. I think they were $60 a tire, something like that. Compare that to Maxxis, over 100 if you get it new.
They roll fast.
And it seems to last. Like, looks brand new on the back.
Yeah, I will contest that Bontrager tires. Everyone I've tried, I've loved. For some stupid reason, I'm still holding out from trying Bontrager tires on my trail bike.
That's because you have them on your downhill bike and your dirt jumper, don't you?
Yeah. And they stopped making my favorite ones for my dirt jumper. They discontinued it,
which was a G0 for the record, which Matt very smooth based on Craig's.
Gravity 0.
So I run a G0 on my dirt jumper and a G5 on my downhill bike. Both ends of the spectrum, but
all right. Yeah, I haven't a Bontrager then. That makes sense. I like the idea that the numerical system.
I can give you a pair to try out if you want to try them. Like, I have extra older ones. You can just take it to like Maryland Luton if you want to just test them out.
I'm gonna take you up on that.
Yeah, might even have a wheel you could just throw it on to do it.
Or you can fight it for no reason like myself.
Yeah. No, I'm in a situation now where I need to have something a little easier pedaling for Bentonville. So, yeah, for sure. But yeah, I like the idea because I've tire shopped before and I always end up just buying something that looks like it rolls fast.
I feel like you're a Continental guy. Like, I feel like you've always ran Continental stuff on your bikes.
$35 and it looks like it rolls fast.
Does it roll fast?
Yeah, kind of. Well, on a Continental, I was able to shroud that berm at Wallfield enough to like make it wobble, even though it was still set.
Yeah, I have problems with Continentals. Got their balloony, and they like kind of flop on my rim.
They do.
Yeah,
yes, they do.
They like Nick Slayton's got Continentals, and he was just complaining. He bought a wheel set from me, my carbon wheel set that everyone kind of wanted, but nobody really wanted.
Oh, sweet.
He bought them finally, and he was trying to put his Continental tires on. He's like, I'm about 2 seconds and one tire lever away from taking this to the bike shop to get it put on. And we've all been there.
Yeah, I haven't given Bontrager a look, but yeah, I'm open to suggestions. I do like the numerical system. That would make it easier for me.
Well, they did get away from that because now I have the new ones as like part of the ambassador thing, and I have the slightly less aggressive than what Craig rides in the rear and a slightly more aggressive, but they're like named after trails that you would ride them on.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, I guess if you know the trail, it would be really smart, but I don't know if Gunnison or Montrose is more aggressive.
Yeah, right.
They're just two towns in Colorado to me. I have no idea. Like, if they were named after the Grand Rapids trails, I would know. Yeah. Like, I run a Luton in the rear and a Merrill in the front.
Oh, that's funny.
But even those, they're like triple compounds. So, like, the middle is harder, so it breaks down less, but you can still get sticky sides, which I've really liked them so far.
Bontrager does that too, the multiple compounds?
Yeah, it's the new thing with them.
So I've ran Specialized tires for quite a while. They've done that for quite a bit, but I also have a Specialized bike. So I'm like, hey, let's match tires to the bike. You know, if something feels wrong about putting Trek products on a Specialized bike, like they won't play nice together or something. My bike will just reject tires and just pop tires constantly or flats or something.
Aren't your other bikes specialized that you have Bontrager tires on?
Let's not talk about that.
I'm just saying.
And they all play nice together, so I don't know why we all can't be friends, I guess.
Kyle, you probably don't know this news yet, but Craig just bought a house in Traverse City, so Bootleg's going to be a party this year too.
Oh, nice.
It should be fun. So we were not looking for anything at all, and all of a sudden Shannon finds something. She's like, check out this sweet house. I'm like, oh my God. It's on 5 acres. The whole entire backyard is a gigantic hill. It is like prime mountain bike building trail, undulations, like stuff in
Nice.
there. I was very embarrassed. The real estate agent was like, where did he go? And Shannon's like, he's up there. And I'm like hiking around in the woods.
He's showing Shannon inside the house, and you're out just walking aside. Like, don't you see inside the house? Like, nope, it's all I can see.
Where do you get the flags from?
How's the dirt?
I didn't dig down, so we could have a sandy mess on our hands. But long story
soil
short,
tech.
Yeah. Long story short, we just kind of fell in love with the place. Like, it was a brand new build, and the husband was a custom home builder up in Traverse City area, and they are originally from like downstate and wanted to have a kid. And so I think a little bit of urgency, they were moving back downstate, and they built this house to live in full time, and he used all the best stuff. So we sort of just I ran the numbers for a bunch of days and went, if we Airbnb this thing full time and we get it going at the end of May, we could come out ahead and then some. And we get to block off weekends whenever we want to go up there. I want to go to Crystal. So we'll see.
Nice.
It's brand new, and the sort of final piece of the deal that pushed us over the edge, fully furnished. So it was like
Nice.
basically what we thought was going to be turnkey. But like I just messaged Brian today. I'm like, I need a deal on a pool table. It turns out they're pool tables I can't afford.
Nice. That was my question. Are you moving up there? But no, you're just going to Airbnb it.
Yep.
Cool.
And not ruling it out maybe someday down the line, but really happy at my job now and like the people I get to hang out with here. And
That's awesome.
Yeah, should be fun.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Always a new venture, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
We're going to have a camping fest at Craig's for the 20th anniversary of the Bootleg this year.
That'll be awesome. Looking forward to having everybody up. I know I can borrow my parents' camper, so we'll have at least one camper with a few beds in it, and I'm sure other people have stuff that they can.
We all have tents and stuff on our trucks.
Yep.
I confirmed that the originator of the Bootleg race, Mr. Devin Koski, is flying from Portugal to be here.
No
and we
way.
are setting up some special things for the 20th anniversary. That is confirmed. He does
Nice.
have a plane ticket.
Wow.
Nice. He's the originator of it?
Yep, he owned the shop in Traverse City that we all rode for, the Modern Extreme Sports, the
Yeah.
stickers that you see on my bikes. Yep, he started that shop, and we used to do the movie premieres, and did the demos at Iceman at the finish line, and all the jumping stuff, and talked to the news, and he had like the North Shore stuff set up around his shop, and just got the free ride thing started. Originally started building his little group. Originally started building the Bandit Trails that became what's now Copper Ridge, but at the time it was just the state hospital, and that's how the downhill thing got started. So
That's cool.
it's gonna be a hell of a shindig this year.
I always thought it was you that started it.
I mean, I was on the team and in the initial group.
Right. Okay.
You've been a part of it every year, but you didn't
Yeah.
start it.
Yeah, I wasn't any part of the planning originally because I lived downstate. I was just there and involved and did the demo with Scott and a couple of the other guys. So it will be a good old time. I'm really looking forward to it this year.
Any hints on what the track's going to be?
No, I have no idea yet. I'm sure we will discuss it and all have different ideas, but
It will go downhill. That's your only hint.
yes, it will be all to mostly downhill.
A little caveat can really be painful, mostly.
I'm not even positive that we're only going to do one run. So
Ooh.
A possible enduro race?
if we have a Mitch Bray timing system, again, there's the possibility of a couple different things that we could do.
I love it. Say no more.
That
Say
would
no
be
more.
legit. Yeah.
So
sweet.
yeah, hopefully we've got a long time. It's not till November, but we'll have details later.
You think when he started that race, you'd think he'd be coming back 20 years later to a full timing system and everything's set up for that race?
No. Did we think it was going to be a race 2 years in a row? No.
But that'd be crazy starting something. Just think it's just a little shindig that you're putting on with your friends and realizing what it's actually become now with all the people that show up. And
The cherry on top of the whole thing would be if someone could figure out who the hell has the original trophy, which was basically the leg from Christmas Story.
No.
I remember seeing that trophy, but
The Fragile trophy?
It wasn't that thing. It was like a mannequin's leg with a boot on it.
wasn't it spray painted gold?
I honestly don't even remember what it looked like. That was like prime head injury. My head injury was the year that thing was debuted. So I don't actually remember what it looks like. I just remember it was sweet, and I remember stories about it, but I can't actually picture it in my head.
We might have to recreate it.
That would,
Didn't you make trophies one year,
I
Kyle?
did. Yeah. I actually. Oh, what did I find? I found a GI Joe, like a larger one, not like a little one. I don't know, 1/10 scale or something like that. But I just like ripped the leg off of it because it had a boot on it, like an army boot. And I think I put it on a leg of like a short stool, and then like put it on another piece of wood and put some like urethane on it and sanded it down or whatever. So yeah, I did make trophies at one point for that. Just 2 of them for the men and women.
You've made trophies for a couple of our races because I remember our extreme cross country races. You've made a couple of trophies because I think I have one in my house still. That I'm like, yeah, Kyle made this.
I wish I had one, but first place only got the big trophy.
Well, we're looking at the two.
You got one.
The two big trophies are right behind you right now.
No, there's the one that I made that was a keychain. If you won it all, you get to take home the big one, and you got to take home the little one.
Oh, I wonder what it is.
You got one somewhere. No, yeah, I used to get into that. I used to, where I work, we sell loose abrasives, which includes sandpaper. So I'd get some wood from our friend Zach Balwinski, cut them into cool shapes, sand them down, make them look pretty, throw some like scrap metal on it, paint it for color, polish them. So no, I had a lot of fun with it actually. A lot of work, but it was fun.
Yeah, the one I have has some fancy wood that you got from Zach, which previous guest, guitar builder, so he has a bunch of fancy, cool wood.
Yeah.
And then some round like gear looking thing that I have no idea what it is, but I know you said you got from work and polished it up real nice and put it in the wood, and it looks cool.
There was so much stuff like scrap metal that my work had that we were going to scrap, and I was like, that looks like a bike part, like an inverted bike part or whatever. You can always throw some chain or an old cog on something, any kind of wood that's nice. Like Zach gave me alder. He had some walnut. I'm forgetting some mahogany. I got some of that from him, like good stuff. And he's like, "Do you want this?" Yeah, I do. A ton of maple, dude. Maple is hard. And it looks so good when you urethane it too. Oh man, I love it. Yeah, I got a kick out of doing that.
Maybe we'll have to contract you for the bootleg trophy maker this year.
Yeah, I'd like to. It'd be fun to be a part of that again.
It needs to be overly crazy and like eccentric. I think that's for the 20th anniversary bootleg trophy that McTaggart can win, or Darren, one of the two.
All right.
They smoked everyone last year.
I'll start looking down the toy aisles for full-size G.I. Joes then.
Well, I think we could probably just we could get a mannequin from somewhere
Dude,
for
mannequin would be sweet.
free to cheap.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Or if you really want to upset the winner, you get like one of the crash test dummy legs because it weighs like 50 pounds.
Oh yeah.
Make the trophy so big they can't even get in their car and get home. Make it so no one wants to win, so they have to get stuck to take it home.
You just drive home with it on your roof.
We're relying on you. You got to bring it back next year.
No, that's awesome. I guess right at the 1 hour mark right now, so I'm gonna cut a bunch of crap out, but mainly Johnson Park.
Yeah,
It'll be in there. I'll just figure out how to do it.
I sit here with a smile on my face because I don't have to do that anymore.
So there's a question for you. Now that Brian's doing editing, what
How much worse is it?
can you pick out Brian's edits and be like, oh, I would have done that differently, or
I can, but that's just me. I've got an ear for that stuff. And honestly, what I needed for someone to do when I was doing the editing was to say, you're doing too much. No one's going to care that bad. Like, I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted seamless transitions, like where breaths were taken, you couldn't tell, and where spaces between words were too great. You could blend them into each other to where it sounded normal. Like, I was way too picky with that stuff, and I needed someone to tell me, just let it ride, man. No one cares, you know?
We did.
But I needed, like, someone over my shoulder being like, let it go. Stop. Don't do that. Don't
like
do
individual examples of like, just move on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's got my signature on it, man. I want it to be good. It's hard for me to do that stuff and just let it go. So, but I can, but at the same time, I don't care. And I think hearing your version of it is like, oh, that's what I needed. So, like, you know, if I was to do it now, I'd probably do it a little different, probably a little quicker.
Your ability with the volume is something that I cannot do. I take out like the long pauses, and I take out the out the breaths for the most part, unless I think it adds to the story, in which case I'll leave some likes and ums.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta leave them in there.
Like the last interview with Eric and Jake that Craig was buying a house during. That was the emergency.
I just messaged these guys. I'm like, there's something time sensitive that just popped up. I can't be there. I'm sorry.
We had fun with it, and we're like, Craig had an emergency. But we didn't know at the time what was going on, for the record. It could have been an emergency for all we knew. It could have been like Taylor Swift tickets went on sale again or something like that. But
Hey, it was good news still, right?
We were waiting in line at Ticketmaster, yeah.
But Eric said a lot of likes, and he'd get excited and start like kind of tripping over his words, and like I thought they added to the story sometimes, so I took out the ones that were unnecessary, but then left the like some of the like stuttering and like excitedness of when he was getting fired up about people not pedaling on uphills or downhills.
There was definitely a point in that story where he didn't know how to respond. You could just hear him like struggling, just did but it added to the story, you know.
I had to leave it in because it built up what's coming next. What's he gonna say?
Being here in person was even better. Just watch him struggle and just flabbergasted. Like I don't know how to defend myself now. It was funny.
And like we had like a break, like a bathroom break in the middle, and there was so much good stuff in that bathroom break that I wanted to leave in, but it was like out of context where I could have like shoehorned it back in, so I just didn't. But there were so many funny things where he was explaining his bulldogness about like telling people to pedal on downhills and like yelling at them, and what was the other one? Oh, not pedaling on uphills with a single speeder in front of you.
Yeah, that's something listeners don't know too, is that, you know, people have bathroom breaks, but we're still having conversations going on. I mean, sometimes some of the stories or conversations, there's only like two people here, and the other two are off doing their own thing, peeing or doing whatever, and you can't tell with editing. But me being here, knowing what's going on, I'm like, oh, he really put that together well. Like, you have no idea. And there's all that kind of behind the scenes stuff that people don't see.
Yeah, we had a couple episodes with real audio issues with the volume. In the one in Rockford Bike Shop was just a mess because big giant open room with dogs running around and very echoey with the condenser mics, air compressors, cars going by. One guest speaks very loudly. One guest, to get her in front of the microphone and stay there was difficult as it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, being a working bike shop, it was tough. And yeah, air compressors, whatever, work going on in the background. And I imagine that was a nightmare for you trying to get it all together and sounded well.
Yeah, I almost had to get a hold of you. I'm like, how do you?
Do you find yourself like paying attention to those inconveniences while you're doing the podcast too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much.
It's so distracting. You probably handle it better than I do just because of I don't know how I know you a little bit, but dude, we'd be doing this stuff and I'd hear like Stan walking around or Courtney's upstairs doing dishes or whistling booger or something. It's like, bro, you got to fix that right now. Otherwise.
I like some of the dog collar.
I do too. I've grown to like
to
it a little bit.
To a certain extent.
The
like,
beer crack is kind of a staple.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. It's just, it would distract me from what's going on. Pretty soon I don't know what we're talking about anymore. You know what I mean?
And then the Marnie one was so much fun and it was excellent. These guys knew nothing about her. And they're like, well, we need to do research. I'm like, no, you don't. We're just going to ask her 2 questions and let her roll, which is exactly what we did. We just sat back on the couch. We did upstairs. So we sat back on the couch, but I don't know if it's when I record with a laptop versus this computer that my parameters are set up different or whatnot, but it was super boomy, too much bass, and it was so quiet. So like Mark's listening to it in his van. He's like, I can't even hear it because his van's not insulated on top of like. I'm like, oh, I gotta get that fixed. And I think the last one ended up being better, and I'm hoping this one will with this computer.
Nice. Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky
I miss you.
You want to edit this one for old time's sake?
No, I don't. I don't.
So how long would it take you to edit, like start to finish, if you had to put a
when we first started? When we first started, it was 3 weeks, something like that, maybe longer. I don't know.
But like hours.
Of
you actively
weeks. not 3 hours, 3 weeks.
Okay, so how many hours go into it?
Yeah.
Man, it's tough to say because I'd only get like a half an hour here, 15 minutes here, an hour here, and I'm doing this like late at night, so I'm not the most like efficient flow state kind of a mindset to do it. So I don't know, 7 hours sometimes. Obviously I could probably get it done in less if I could just work for 5 hours on it.
That's the big advantage that I have is that I can just like come down and not go upstairs until it's done.
Yeah.
But 7 hours sounds reasonable for like absolute perfection.
Yeah. Plus I was doing a lot of the, researching a little bit of sound design at first, like, what kind of noise do I want to put in here? And, when I was developing the intro, getting the music and shaving that down to match and everything. So more time went into it at the beginning. Also, I spent a lot of time with equalization. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Right? EQing a lot of our voices, trying to get the basses right. Like I did way too much research than I needed to just to get our voices out there. But like I said, it had my signature on it. I wanted it to be good. I wanted everything to be like really good for this podcast. I wanted it to be successful. So yeah, I really spent some time with it for sure. But I could have probably skimmed through a lot of it to make it quicker. In retrospect, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
plus we weren't good at first. So
there's a lot of that. There was a lot of.
Yeah, it got a lot easier towards the end.
Like you were natural. You were the first guest that was like really natural that came on. That like you and then Rob Martin came on, who is a professional, and then Mark Deering, who talks in front of a camera, and like that stuff matters compared to like someone that just doesn't know. And it's not on them. Like if you've never done it before, you can't expect someone to be perfect at it.
Yeah, my mind jumps right to Marnie and Courtney. At one point in their podcast, they got so excited that they both leaned their heads around the microphones, completely outside of the microphone's range, just to yell at each other and talk.
Essentially push the mic out of the way so they could visually see each other better.
Oh, that's funny.
I was like, it was such a good story. I didn't want to jump in. I knew they were like yelling, so it's going to get picked up. But at the same time, like, it's funny you guys are actually speaking around the microphone. She's like, I don't need a microphone. And we're like, yes, you do. It's the only way we'll ever hear you after this.
So what was that first episode like? I can't say I can recall it. I'll go back and listen to it on my way home now. But
how do we remember it? I remember it being a complete mess.
Our thoughts of what the podcast was gonna be have completely changed from day one to now.
Yeah.
Like what we thought we were gonna be doing is not at all what we're doing right now. And I think what we're doing now is much better than what we thought.
Mm-hmm.
What was the original like ethos or game plan?
I know for me, I had stuff written down like let's do a topic, like let's talk about how we got our kids into biking, like what's the progression to get them from a Strider bike to bike with gears, and just
we did that episode. It never came out.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah, we did. And yeah, just let's give our knowledge. Let's let everyone else know our thoughts. Where I think it's now, or let's talk to people and just have a conversation, have the fun stories come out, and we can get some of that knowledge of like the Ava Hotel. Bring your bike there, check it in, walk away, have a great day. It's the little stuff like that where hey, share some of that knowledge, but it's just the getting to know people, having fun conversations. I think.
I remember some of the topics were like pluses and minuses of flat pedals versus clipless pedals.
Yeah. What's the pros and cons of this? Let's show my graph I made.
That, and then every other episode was going to be like a review of a place we went. So like if you notice that our first 3 episodes that we ever did was one, get to know the team, where we all like kind of set our backgrounds, which wasn't very necessary for our first episode. And then the second one was the in-depth breakdown of Joyride 150 that is probably way too in-depth. And like I haven't gone back and listened to it, but I'm guessing I think we talked about it for an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How many episodes have we recorded that we have not put out?
Two.
Yep.
And then the third episode was, I think it was mountain biking friends and the importance of a good mountain biking group, I believe. Oh no, that was 4. Number 3 is our least listened to episode of all time by like a lot. And it was spring riding tips and places to go.
Yeah.
And we recorded those 2 together because we used to record 2 at a time.
Yeah. We moved away from that too, which I'm glad, because I've only got enough bandwidth for one main podcast. I've come to realize. Yeah. If you were to ask me that question, like what are you guys going to talk about? What's the plan for the podcast? I would not have had an answer for you. I was just so excited to be a part of something that like got that excitement out to something that wasn't just the trail, you know? Mm-hmm. We've had all these experiences, all these memories. We've taken all these trips. We've had all this progression. It's like, what else can we do with all this? Because it's just so much fun. You know, let's talk about bikes. Let's just get on the podcast. We'll talk about bikes, you know, or something like that. So if you were to said, what's the game plan? I don't know. I just point the finger to Brian. He's got it.
No, I think the best thing you guys did was you started.
Yeah.
Like you got to shit or get off the pot, and ultimately nothing's going to happen if you never get off the start line. Mm-hmm. So many people can get stuck at that like paralysis by analysis phase of like, here's our 6-month plan of all the episodes that we're going to do before we even record the first one. At some point, you just got to hit the button.
Mm-hmm.
And
we were super hesitant to have a guest on at first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know how we were going to do it. And I look at like the old pictures of when we started, like at Kyle's dinner table, with like random microphones, and we videoed the whole thing.
Yeah,
like you might even have those files somewhere.
I'm not watching them.
It was so cringy.
It was so many retakes of like just the intro, probably like 50 tries of saying like 3 words and damn it, and start over. Trying to be absolutely perfect.
I'm reading off of a notepad that I wrote stuff down on, and it yeah. Well, you ever heard of the Kodak crumble analogy, adage, or whatever you call it?
Yep.
So whatever that is to video cameras, I got it. And I got it with this too. The podcast doing this has actually helped me get over it a little bit. But as soon as like something's recording, it's like I'm giving a presentation. And I might as well just be like, number 1 fear, public speaking all over again. This is obviously not as bad, but I don't know. When the video camera's on you, when you're recording, you're just not the same as you would be without it, you know? And Craig, you don't have it. I noticed that from day one that I met you. You don't got it. Some of us don't have it. Some of us do have it, me being one of them.
You should hear some of his intros that nobody else could see here.
They're pretty rough.
Well, see, there you go. So when the pressure's on.
Yep.
Yeah, but like any other time, like when you first sat down and talked to the microphone, you wouldn't know. I was like, he doesn't have it. Lucky.
So I think that whole thing, or like what happens, you have an extra part of your brain that's processing, oh shit, you should be nervous. Or like, oh, this matters. Mm-hmm. And that's sitting there in a little loop, like going, this matters, this matters, this matters. And that takes away from your brain's ability.
We all do it.
Form a sense. Yeah.
All of us have little ticks when like during the intro that you never hear any other time. Like when we have to do one take do a whole section of speaking in one take where we have specific things we need to say without trying to sound like we're reading, and like trying to take the spaces out and make it sound as concise as possible. But the intros are hard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I heard Kellen nailed it last week.
I was so proud of it. I bragged. I said, first try. It was my first time ever doing a first try, but I was like, yes, 1 try, killed it. Rubbed it in Craig's face. Said you said it was because you weren't here. I killed it.
I think that blossoming into the structure where you guys have guests on every time now has really like enabled that to kind of go away a little bit. You know, there's not like this, well, I got an outline written here and I want to go over all this stuff. Like that's good to a degree, but at the same time, I mean, you still do. I mean, you don't want to forget stuff, right? But to go by that is like, okay, well, I got to talk about this next. And it's not just like this shooting the shit kind of a conversation that I'm feeling right now, you know. Plus, it's way more fun.
Yeah, I know a lot of us write little notes like, oh, we know this about them. If, you know, we can kind of direct our conversation towards here. And a lot of times our notes we write, half of them we never even get to because our just conversation flows and there's all the cool stories we talk about. And like, yeah, I did a bunch of research on you.
We're 90 minutes in. There's no way I can squeeze a whole new topic in.
Yeah, but we're just not going to talk about it. And there's a lot of guests I'd love to have back because I still have half a sheet of paper of notes I have on that I think would be fun to talk about. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what you think's going to happen doesn't always happen, and for us it seems like it's for the better.
The Jacoby one was a hoot.
I got a kick out of listening to that one. That was probably for the first episode I wasn't on. I was like, how's this going to go? And that was a good one. I've always wanted to have Jacoby. That was the one person. If you were to ask me who you'd want to have as a guest, that's the one person I could think of. And he unfortunately couldn't make it on when I was still on. But no, that was a good one. That was cool. He's an interesting dude.
He deserves a part 2. Absolutely.
Now he'll do it because it turned out well and he really liked it. And like Kellen said, he was riding dirt bikes with him. And he's like, never listened to any podcasts. But then he was talking to Kellen. And he's like, oh, I liked it when you guys did this with this person and this with this person.
Yeah.
So he went on a binge.
Yeah, so I asked him before he did the podcast, like, you listen to podcasts? You doing that? You want to come on ours? And he's like, I don't know. I don't listen to podcasts. That's a whatever thing. And then I rode dirt bikes with him a couple weeks ago, and I started talking, using that same information, like, oh, you listen to podcasts now. He's like, oh, yeah, I heard you talk about this with your other guest. I'm like, you told me you don't listen to podcasts, but you listen to our podcast now,
Converted.
Yeah. We appreciate you, Jeff. Come back on. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming back on, Kyle.
Yeah, it was fun.
I appreciate having you here, as always, and hanging out with you, because we don't get to hang out as much as we'd like, I would say.
Kids.
Children. Kids, time, work schedules. Mm-hmm. I'll have to give you some tires from the other room. I'm really excited to go to Bike Fest.
Dude, I'm stoked. I can't wait.
25. I wish you could make it, Craig.
He's getting his phone out.
That's the dates again.
We're leaving 22nd and 23rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, right?
Yeah, leaving the 22nd in the morning and coming back. We left room in my truck, and we left room in the house.
And we left a sign that
What's
says...
the closest airport?
We also said put a sign that says
Walmart.
Craig only on the seat and a room with a bed. Reserved for you.
We might make a little effort here.
It's pretty cheap because Courtney's flown in and out of there because it's like Walmart World Headquarters.
Okay. Oh, and I could send a bike with you.
Yeah.
You drive a hard bargain.
You probably need to send 3. We're taking my truck with Kellen's North Shore rack so we can get all the bikes.
So originally, the house is kind of causing a lot of headache and chaos in my life right now because we got it fully furnished, but there's a whole crap load of other stuff that you have to have if you're going to have a bunch of guests, and we plan to have it basically rented out full time. So quick turnarounds, got to have linens, got to have 3 sets of everything. Like, it's adding up really, really quickly.
I bet.
So I'm sort of stressed out. We don't get keys until May 18th, which is my birthday. Kind of wild.
And the World Cup race.
Tough timing. I didn't want to say I'm probably going to miss that one, but I'm probably going to miss that one.
That's why we do the replay.
Fantastic. So, I'm going to try to make it. I want to. I've just heard you guys talk endlessly about Bentonville, and I need to experience it.
No pressure, but it would be really cool if you could make it.
Gonna try.
I'll try to talk Taylor Swift in the coming for you.
I mean, that would seal the deal. I wouldn't even be the one driving us down. Shannon would be pedal to the metal.
Guys, remember, guys trip only. Tell her she has to stay home.
She can get her own house with Taylor. But, I mean, anyone that's listening to this, if you're going to be down at Bike Fest this year, get a hold of us and ride with us. Go on one of our rides with us. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, you guys need to send us a message, do something, so we can get a Pedal Progressions group ride out.
And buy your shirts before you get down there so we know you like the show.
Or tell us you suck, whatever.
Yeah. Either one works. But once again, Kyle, thanks for coming on.
Anything you want to plug? Your videos?
Yeah, you got.
Where do we find you?
Your Whistler video's coming out tomorrow, right?
Your sick guitar shred.
I'll plug my stuff.
Your sick guitar shred videos.
I don't shred, but I like to play. No, I've got Instagram at Klyn5150, and then YouTube is at Kyle Klyn, KYLEKLYN. I do have a Whistler video coming out in the next 5 months, we'll say. Who knows? I got other projects going on too, but yeah, check me out. I appreciate it. Follow. Give me some views. Much love.
Yeah, that Bentonville video on your channel, I'm sure, has got a ton of views, and then it's got quite a few on our channel now too.
Nice.
So if you put them together, it's doing really well.
I haven't looked at the counters in a long time. Been just doing other stuff, but yeah.
All right, well, yeah, appreciate you coming on, Kyle. We'd love to have you on anytime you want, and you're welcome to edit any videos or any podcast you want to.
Oh, that would take me back.
Well, thanks, Kyle. Thanks for everyone listening, and see you guys later.
See ya.
That's not what you say at the end.
Man, talking about blowing it. Let's try that again here. Thanks for coming on, Kyle. Thanks for everyone listening, and remember to keep progressing, keep pushing yourself, and have fun. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
_ podcast. Our link tree is in the description. It's in the description. You're gonna have two things to put at the end now. In the description.